First, we do want to talk about Pine Rest here in Grand Rapids. They're holding a free conference on March 27th called Guiding Adolescents Through the Complex World of Substance Abuse. And joining us this morning is Mariah DeYoung with Pine Rest is here. Thank you so much for being here with us. We really appreciate your time. First off, go ahead and let us know, what is this conference and what can folks look forward to if they're looking to attend this conference?
Yeah, so we're holding two different sessions, one in the afternoon that is more towards professionals. We're going to offer CEUs, that type of thing, but the same topics, the same title, all of that type of stuff. However, the one in the evening is the one we really would like the community to learn about and know about, and why I'd like to be here. Thank you for having me here. Is from 5:30 to 7, and that is more aimed towards parents and community members, coaches, church, anybody who works with kids.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's talk more about just some of the drugs that teens could be exposed to. What are you guys seeing, and what is sort of the risks that some of those teenagers could get into?
Yeah, so it definitely is a shift over time. What we're seeing with the youngers, 7th, 8th grade, and then early adolescents, is usually they're starting with vaping nicotine. That is the highest percentage that we see. But then as they go up into the older teens, 17, 18, we see more marijuana and alcohol. So definitely starting with one thing and then shifting to some other substances.
There are probably some things around that, you know, when you were a child, you know, things probably didn't exist how they do now. What has changed in that time, you know, from kids today to the kids of yesterday? What has changed?
I think the different things that have changed is what's socially acceptable. And so like vaping and using marijuana is more socially acceptable than what it was when I was a teenager. But also still the potency of the different things and the language that's being used and where you actually can get these things. Like we're going to have a section about Kratom.
That was my next question. Is what is that? Is this something that parents should be worried about, frankly, or?
I mean, I think you should be worried about all substances that you're going to get, that type of thing. But it's just something we want to make people aware of because it is pretty easily accessible.
Okay. What is it?
So it is an opioid, and it is a form of a substance. I will say that is what my coworker is going to be. That's her section, so I'm not going to go into that a whole lot. So we're going to talk about that because part of the reason that it's so scary is you can just get it at gas stations. And there's no get checks on that or anything, and so that is something that we're seeing a little bit of a rise in, and because it's so easily accessible, we want to make parents aware.
A rise in what's the last several years? Are we talking like 5 years, 10 years, or?
I would definitely say it's been newer in the last 3 to 5 years.
Really? So pretty new. I mean, newer than from when you and I were probably in high school or teenagers as well. So what are some of the signs that parents might need to look out for, you know, if they are using any sort of substance, whether that be alcohol, nicotine, vaping, kratom, you know, what are some of the things that parents need to look out for? I know that there are certain emojis that some parents might need to like lock in on and identify as something that could be harmful to their children, like what you're seeing on the screen.
Absolutely. So we're going to go over some of those different emojis. We're going to have pictures of what some of the vapes and different things look like because they really are like highlighters and different things that you would see in kids' school backpacks that you would just think they have a highlighter in their backpack, and it's a vape. But we're also going to talk about the warning signs, like you said, of being more isolated and withdrawn, which that's kind of a normal thing for kids now since COVID and that type of thing is isolated and withdrawn.
Probably gets harder to spot those. Can you give an example?
I think when you see the change in behavior. So somebody who was wanting to go spend time at friend's house or was going out some and now is every Saturday night spending time at home or really isolating to their bedroom, not communicating or talking much at all. Those are the type of things that we start to see. The change in behaviors, change in grades, change in somebody who was very active in sports and now all of a sudden it's like, I'm not doing sports this year.
Okay. Certainly things for parents to be thinking about, obviously. Can we pull that emoji graphic back up? Because I think that's so interesting. You know, we hear of like things like LOL and OMG. You know, we all know that that's like typical text lingo. But some of these emojis could mean like marijuana. For example, we've got trees, like all sorts of different types of trees. A cigarette emoji that might be marijuana here that parents might want to look out for. Obviously, the vaping one, you can kind of tell what that one is equaling, right?
Sure.
But kratom, if you don't know what that is, I mean, it's very interesting that those are some of the emojis that they would be using.
Yeah.
And so how did you guys figure that out, that they were using some sort of text lingo like that to talk about drugs?
Yeah, so where everybody kind of goes to is we go to the internet,
Yeah.
we look and see what's going on. We also, because we do provide the services to our teens and we have good relationships, usually they're pretty open when I just ask,
Yeah.
hey, how do you communicate? What do you do? Or I'll say, what does this symbol mean? And they'll tell me. Like, they don't usually hide it. So, not saying they're not going to try and hide it from their parents, but
Right.
a lot of times they're educating me more than because it changes so all the time and it's hard for me to keep up. So they're keeping me informed.
Well, I'm sure, that they come up with that, very quickly with new substances, but also new emojis or new emoji combinations.
Yeah.
And, they're all probably at school like, oh, this could equal that. And,
Right.
you just never know how quickly that could change. So obviously something for parents to look out for. Part of this workshop, you mentioned that there are kind of two parts to this.
Yeah.
Your colleague's going to cover Kratom, which is something that's on the rise, you mentioned. What are you going to be covering in your portion of the workshop?
So my portion, I'm going to talk about communicating with your teens, the red flags like you mentioned, and then also the communication, how to talk to them about it, when to talk to them about it, what's appropriate, what the different age levels are. I think you should start talking to your kids from a very young age about substances in general. Just, hey, we drink alcohol and this is how we do it and this is how we control it, and it just becomes a normal part of conversations from a young age. Or also, we don't drink alcohol in our house and this is why and these are the concerns and all that. Whatever your reasoning is for how you use substances, it just becomes a normal part of conversation. But really at ages 7 and 8 is when you want to start talking with the kids about what are the effects? What is this going to do to your body? And just like we would talk about junk food versus healthy food, substances are part of that health talk with kids. And what does that look like? And you want to start that at a young age. So when you're having those conversations at 14 or 15, it doesn't feel like a weird conversation. It's just something we talk about.
Yeah, and it's important to have those age-appropriate conversations at any age, like what you're describing, as young as maybe 7 or 8 years old, because that's when they really start to kind of pick up on things, They're noticing, like, if mom or dad is having a glass of wine with dinner, that's not my water or my milk that I'm drinking. What is that, And I think you're right. It is important to have those age-appropriate conversations there. What would you say the number one question you get from parents is when they're trying to navigate the world of substance use with their children?
Oh gosh, the number one question is hard,
Or
but I
maybe
think
a
it is
couple
more
of
the
themes that you've
I
talked
think
about.
it is just it's so different now. The emojis, the language, the words, what are kids using? All of that feels so foreign that they don't know how to start the conversation. They're not sure what to talk about or how to go into that.
So of course, we back in October, Pine Rest, you guys got a donation for the Behavioral Health Center for Children. Is there an update on that, and how will that facility help you guys in educating parents and teenagers and children about substance use?
Yeah, absolutely. So that is moving along. The walls are there. It looks like it's really been a lot of fun to see it being built on our campus, and it looks great. And we do plan to have a substance use program there specifically for teenagers. Right now it's kind of all of our substance use programming for teens is spread out throughout our clinics.
Okay.
It's not centered in one location, and we were not going to get rid of it in our other clinics. It'll still be there for sure, but it will be nice to have a program at our pediatric center for adolescents who are struggling.
Okay, what's another thing that we can look forward to this conference with? We've talked about the parents. Let's talk about the professionals. What are we chatting with them about?
So it's a lot of the same things. I think there's some professionals who don't know what the emojis are either, and those type of things. This might not be their area. They might work with kids and adolescents, but maybe not work in substance use. And so it's just more of that education for them, but it's kind of more at a scientific, professional level, and then we're able to offer the free CEUs for that so that they get credit for attending.
Can I ask you how these conferences came about? Was there an issue you guys were seeing in the community and you were like, hey, we need to just get everybody on the same page with an event like this?
Yeah, so we do want to make the community aware of different things. We were able to get a small grant to help us do some presentations, and one of the requirements of the grant was to provide community information. And so we said, what better to help the community learn about. And then the adolescents. Let's focus on this area because it does feel like something that we're hearing about from the schools, that we're hearing about from parents, that it's this foreign world that we don't know how to. So we're like, let's take that topic and make it happen.
It is a tricky landscape to navigate, and I'm sure you being on the other side of that see a wide range of different situations in this landscape, right? And so hats off to you guys for providing such a great event for, not only professionals, but also parents and kids to be able to learn and understand how to do that. So again, we have the free conference there, which is the professional session at 2 to 4 p.m. on March 27th, the parent session 5:30 to 7:30 p.m. on March 27th. Again, talking about the world of substance use there and how parents can chat with their children about that. Thank you so much, Mariah, for being here. We really appreciate it. And of course, we'll have all that info on 13onyourside.com.